Hey everyone, this video is going to be slightly different. Today I'm going to do probably what will be either a multi-part or at least the part one of the refurbish of my Rusticated 302. No, I am not a stem pro by any stretch of the imagination, but I do have a good way of sanitizing it. This will come up in the next video where I actually will show how you do a retort. Now, I'll let you know where you can actually get these tubes and the hose, and it's not very difficult. But this is pretty much exactly what you need. You need a reaming tool right here. You need kosher salt, coarse kosher salt, do not get the powder. Some type of, I prefer a high proof grain alcohol, some pipe cleaners, some Q-tips, for when you're getting done with your restoration. You probably want to utilize some type of alcohol mixture just for flavoring, but that's pretty much it. And you know, it's not difficult. Today we're actually just going to start with doing the salt treatment and reaming, so that way you can see how all that works. Now, one other thing that you can have as well, as you can see right here, this is just regular sand. And I use this sand specifically to rest the pipe once I have put it in salt. This is my reaming tool of choice. As you can see, it will actually expand and contract. And this is really to be able to get it into the bowl. Now, I prefer to take out first the stem, put that off to the side, and typically I want to do this with the bowl by itself. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, as I can see, this is extremely loose. I'm going to tighten this up until I can feel it get stuck in this bowl. Okay, so we're there. Now I can feel some play, and that's what you want. And from this point, yes, it is super noisy. Now for these deep bowls, I actually start at the top, because you can see the widest point of these blades. I actually start at the top, and I work my way down. Now, in certain cases, you're going to have to, you're going to see some wood, and that's okay. And I'm just going to keep going down. Yep, and you're seeing a little bit more wood shavings. All right, now for this one, I've already reamed out this specific bowl, and as you can see, I have gotten way down into the grain. This is exactly what I want to see. Now, you're never going to really fully get to the bottom. That's just not, it's not really going to happen for the most part. Now, some can live with that, some can't. But as you can see, for the majority of that bowl, it has been reamed out. And that's what we want. So we've got the salt already coming in, and again, we're going to do both the shank. Oops. This is why you want to make sure you've got yourself a good area to work with. Now, you definitely want to have some in the shank, especially on a Peterson pipe where you have a reservoir. that is collecting a ton of that tar and moisture that's coming through. Now the good thing is, unlike most pipes are highly affected by the moisture. In fact, you can build up a cake and you can build up the tars inside of a bowl to the point where it cannot absorb any more moisture. And so you can actually, that's probably a good time to actually ream your pipe. And in other cases too, I don't have a huge selection of pipes just because I've got specific ones that I like. And in that, especially going through my blends, by about summer, I might actually go ahead and give some of my pipes a good reaming down to the briar, and actually go ahead and do a salt treatment and start off with Virginias and go into some of the heavier blends. So, and that's by just pure by my choice and not any specific reason, but there are some pipes that I would like to smoke some Virginias in, and for the most part during the year, I don't. I usually dedicate a couple pipes to Virginias, but every once in a while I might want to add a couple extras into the Virginias. So we're going to take the syringe and we're going to start applying the alcohol. Now this will fill up. It's okay. You really want to get to the point where you're not running over the bowl. Let's go ahead and do some more. Again, you want to try and make sure that you are not getting any of this onto the exterior of your pipe. Now, this whole time I am doing this, I am making sure that I am watching the shank down here to see if I am filling up with any alcohol. I'm not watching the top as much as I'm watching the shank because I don't really want any spillover. Now, as you can see, as I'm putting in more alcohol, you can start seeing the alcohol build. Now, at this point, I'm going to have to turn the pipe ever so slightly. So now, there's alcohol on both the top, close to the rim, and here in the shank. Now that step is done. This will now go in to the rice. And that will stay for 24 hours until that salt has turned color to let us know that a lot of those tars have come out. But that's pretty much the beginning part of this. The only other section that I would probably do right now, and many of you can clean the exteriors of your pipes. I myself like to have a decent pipe. This pipe was a really good one that I got online, and there's very little chatter on this. But what you'll see me do is I'll just take the edge of the blade, and all I'm trying to do is get up a little bit, just here on the edge. I'm trying to scrape up some of that oxidation. And you can see how a lot of this will come up. And you can see also how there's quite a bit on the knife at the same time. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to work around, and I like to go with more of a flat blade. I don't really want to slice in to the pipe. I'm really just wanting to utilize this finer edge to pick up a lot of that oxidation. And we'll go through this a few times, just over and over. And again, it's going to depend on the pipe that you have, how much oxidation you were able to get off. The next step is to do some people do bleach, some people do bleach, some people do OxyClean. One thing specific, and you've got to be careful, you know, this is a vulcanite stem. It is not a lucite stem, so the vulcanite stem is a lot softer, but this absolutely will oxidize. If you're going to do one of those treatments and you've got a branding on here, or initials, what have you, you're going to have to make sure you cover that up with some Vaseline. Otherwise, it will absolutely eat that away. But what you're going to do is you're going to really oxidize this pipe by doing that. You're going to get a ton of everything up on this pipe. And by doing that, you're going to not only make the outside of this extremely rough, but you're also going to make the inside of this extremely rough. And you've got to be careful in that scenario. I do not oxidize the inside of my pipes. I'm sure some of you out there will be like, oh no. I will actually do a retort. I will utilize the alcohol and do a retort, and that's something that I'll show you how to do. It's a very unique way of sanitizing the inside stem of your pipe. It can be very dangerous, so I don't recommend you do it around children. I don't recommend you do it around children, plants, animals, wooden tables. Ask my wife how our kitchen table got that big spot on it. Actually, don't ask her, because she's still letting me have and enjoy this hobby. But essentially, you want to make sure you're not on anything flammable. I prefer a kitchen sink, a metal kitchen sink, where if you do, for instance, if this beaker or this tube actually cracks or explodes, you're in less danger on a metal sink. My apologies. This can take my focus for a good long while. So, but that's pretty much it. As you can see, we've eliminated a good amount. I will scrub this down further. And I will actually utilize soap and water and sanitation scrubs to clean the outside of this. I don't typically do a lot of polishing, but you know, that's okay. That's not something that's part of what I typically do. But what I will do is I will clean up the outside of this as much as I can, especially working on removing as much of the oxidation from when the person smoked it, which again, this one has very little. This one was not smoked often, and so that'll be the start to that. And the next video that I do, I apologize, these are not nearly as entertaining as the normal ones. The next video that I do, I will go ahead and show you the pipe, and I will actually do the retort for you, so you can see how it's done and what the technique is in place for that. So I hope you were able to at least gain something out of this video. I know this is a little bit different. You're not seeing as much of me, which is probably preferred. But go ahead and grab some of your old pipes, especially some of those that are caked up pretty well, that you might want to utilize for a blend that you really don't want it to ghost, and you want to use it for a different blend, maybe a lighter blend like a Virginia. And take the opportunity, especially when we get into more of the summer months where I like to have Virginias, and ream out a few of your pipes. This tool is invaluable. I know a lot of people have some of those small ones. I can't tell you how many of those I have broken. Get you one of these senior pipe tools. They are absolutely, they are wonderful. They are absolutely wonderful. I cannot tell you how many times I've used this tool for some of the pipes that I have. But again, go out there, take some of your pipes. Maybe you have some that you'd like to bring back into a milder rotation of blends, and you know, that have been caked up and have been ghosted with some very heavy Englishes. And go ahead, start reaming them out. Do your salt treatment. Again, kosher salt. Kosher salt. Do not use sea salt. Do not use pink salt. Kosher salt, coarse. Use a high grain alcohol, so that way it actually does not leave as much of a flavoring. You can flavor it later, which is what this is for. So you can always flavor it at a later time. And we will, when this has gone 24 hours, I will then do the second half of this very simple pipe restoration. I'll see you then. Everybody go out there and like, share, and subscribe. Do some other cool YouTube stuff. This is Martin from Over a Pipe. Thanks for stopping by.